Hello everybody and welcome back for some weekly VR news, where I keep you up to date with everything going on in the VR industry, prepare you for this week's new game releases, and then finally focus in on a few major topics. Today I have my first impressions of Battle Talent after a few hours of gameplay. There's a short but sweet list of new game releases, including a new free-to-play title I can't wait to check out, plus a new dark-themed physics-based fighter, a handful of new hardware was showcased at AWE, and finally, we have all of the recent announcements from Meta, including the Quest 3 and their gaming showcase. Now, there are of course links and timestamps if you want to skip ahead, but before we jump in, this video is brought to you by Kiwi Design. If you're in need of any VR accessories, I highly recommend you check out their site. They offer up my favorite Quest 2 Elite strap with multiple different models that allow you to add either a battery pack, enhanced headphones, or both. Now, if you already own a head strap, they just released a snap-on version of their headphones that you can buy separately. There's a link to Kiwi Design down in the comments, and don't forget to use discount code Mateo311 for 5% off and to help support this channel. Okay, so let's start this video off with my first impressions of Battle Talent. Battle Talent is a fantasy-themed physics-based fighter with both RPG elements and full dungeon crawls. You'll go through a series of arena-style fights that introduces both new weapons and enemies, and then you'll have to face that temple's dungeon with its own unique boss fight. Throughout those dungeons, you'll find unique weapons which are upgradable, and you can unlock some temporary power-ups. Between missions, you could use any experience you gain to unlock new skills. And this right here is where the game really shines. These skills will turn you from a basic fighter into something like your favorite anime hero. You'll gain some superhuman strength, which allows you to do things like smack enemies across the room, or blast them straight up into the sky, and then float up next to them and smack them 20 times before they hit the ground. There's also unique spells and ranged weapons to unlock, and over time the combat just gets better and better. This title is a great option for people who enjoy games like Blade and Sorcery, but are looking for more than just a sandbox mode. While I still feel that the combat in Blade and Sorcery is a little bit better, Battle Talent just offers up much more of an actual game to play. So if you're currently looking for a dungeon crawler, Battle Talent is worth checking out. But let's move on to the mixed impressions I'm seeing from the Meta Gaming Showcase. Now, I do have a full recap up if you're unaware of what was announced, but here's the 30-second Cliff Note edition. Meta announced 9 brand new games. They gave us new footage for previously announced games, a handful of updates for already released games, and finally they briefly showcased the Meta Quest 3. Now personally, I thought this was a great showcase from Meta. Those brand new titles basically offer something for everyone, including a 60+ hour RPG, a co-op dungeon crawler, an action-packed first-person shooter, a stealth-based adventure title, a way overdue return to Vampire the Masquerade, a horror-themed puzzle title, a dance party game, and finally a great-looking physics-based mech fighting title. I mean, honestly, I don't know what more the Quest 2 community wants. Well, that's not exactly true, because the live stream chat was screaming GTA San Andreas the whole time, and they were also pumping the chat with L's and crapping on the Quest 2 graphics. Now, I'm going to assume this is just the very vocal minority, because honestly, this is the best the Quest 2 will ever get. Now, jumping back to GTA San Andreas for a second, a lot of people are under the impression this project is completely dead now, but I do want to remind you that we went 3 years of silence for Assassin's Creed Nexus, and that title has now officially been confirmed. So there's definitely still hope for GTA, but I think it might end up being a Quest 3 title. And speaking of the Quest 3, if you were already in the know, the reveal didn't really bring any new information to the table. The headset will be releasing this fall for $500. It has twice the graphical power, a new significantly slimmed down design, plus some new mixed reality capabilities. Now, I will have a much more detailed full breakdown of the Quest 3 later this week, and I'll also be going over how Meta faces an uphill battle with this new headset, so make sure to subscribe and turn notifications on so you don't miss that video. But let's move on to this week's new releases. First up is the free-to-play brawler Quantaar. Quantaar takes inspiration from titles like Street Fighter, but also games from separate genres like League of Legends. This is a third-person title that'll have you fighting it out like Smash Brothers, but similar to something like Astrobot or Moss. Your own personal avatar is also present in the game and can interact with the world. So I'm definitely interested to check out this unique fighting title and unlock the array of unique characters. But if single player is more your style, the action-adventure physics-based title Undead Citadel is releasing later this week. It features both a story-driven campaign, plus a horde mode if you just want to compete for the high score. There's over 60 different melee weapons to utilize, all with unique characteristics and attributes. Plus, there's also a handful of ranged weapons and magical potions. Undead Citadel is a dark, gritty world, which will have you mowing down hordes of undead creatures. Now, I've already jumped into this title and may have some footage up later in the week, so let me know if that's something you're interested in seeing down in the comments. But while I'm not sure if I'll have Undead Citadel gameplay up, I will definitely have a very special game sneak peek dropping this Wednesday. This is an action-packed game that I can't wait for its release, so trust me guys, you won't want to miss this one. Now moving on into some hardware news, one of the most exciting things I saw from AWE was a 240-degree field of view VR pancake lens. Now we most likely won't see this in a headset anytime soon, but it's a proof of concept that shows this technology is very possible. Now the field of view has a dramatic impact on the VR experience, and eventually we'll no longer have that sensation like we're wearing blinders or a scuba mask. But there are definitely some hurdles this technology will face. For starters, rendering that much more of the gameplay world does require more processing power, and mobile chipsets are already pushed to their max. Now we can rely on a heavy usage of foveated rendering, because this footage is after all in your peripheral, but this could become quite intrusive and take away from the entire experience. I definitely hope they can solve that and any other warping issues, because a 240-degree field of view headset sounds like a dream come true. But let's move on to something much closer to reality, and that's the ever-growing hype for the new Apple VR headset. A very interesting collection of players have started teasing us about June 5th, and this includes people from Beat Games and even Sean Murray from No Man's Sky. Now when Sean simply tweeted out an Apple, rumors started to swirl that the VR version of No Man's Sky was coming to Apple's VR headset. But we now know that a Mac version of the flat screen title has released on Steam. But I'm really curious why now, and also why would someone from Beat Games be hyping up June 5th? Is it even remotely possible that the Apple VR headset will be getting SteamVR support? If so, that would be pretty freaking insane. The headset supposedly has Apple's M2 processor, which is extremely capable. Now the only issue here is traditionally Mac game support has been very spotty, but a Valve Apple team up could definitely restore PCVR gaming. I know the concept of a $2,000 plus headset sounds ridiculous, but if it comes with the same functionality as a full gaming system, plus all of its additional AR capabilities, well then it's actually a really good value, and I would definitely consider picking one up. Now while we're discussing PCVR, the Somnium VR1 just announced some recent updates. Now if you're not familiar with this headset, they're aiming for the top of the line consumer grade product. They now have a production ready model, and they've also been able to lower the weight and increase the FOV to 125 degrees. From a spec standpoint, this does seem like an extremely capable headset, and they're also planning deliveries by the end of this year. The actual price tag has not been announced just yet, but they said it shouldn't disappoint. Now, I'm currently desperate to replace my Valve Index, and on paper it looks like this could be the headset, but we'll just have to wait and see what happens. But let's move on to our final topic, and that's Meta showcasing some mixed reality. Now, I've been looking forward to augmented reality for years, but I'm still yet to see a demo that truly impresses me. What Meta showcases here not only looks like inferior versions of their already existing VR games, but also dropping them into your real-life environment also makes them so much less immersive. I just don't know why you would want to play something like Broken Edge, where only part of that beautiful world is visible. Now, I'm all for bringing virtual items into the real world, but the pass-through functionality will need to far exceed what the Quest Pro does, because as of right now, it's just a stuttery, washed-out mess that I can't enjoy. Now again, I will be discussing the Quest 3 and this topic much more in detail later in the week, but for right now, I want to hear down in the comments what you guys think about the Quest 3 bringing mixed reality to the table. Do you even care about this functionality? Would you prefer the Quest 3 focused only on VR and had a lower price tag? Or is an experience like this the main reason why you want a Quest 3? Please go ahead and let me know right now.
And that was today's video, brought to you by my dad, Mateo311. If you enjoyed it, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you're new here,
Consider subscribing.
consider
Consider subscribing.
consider subscribing.
Consider subscribing.
Consider subscribing.
We'll see you guys on next time.
We'll see you guys on next time.